We're going to start off with all praises to Barakadah Yahweh, Barakadah Yahweh Shah. Another lesson through Brother Yawanathan. 1 Corinthians 2:1. And I, brethren, when I came to you, came not with excellent of speech or of wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of Yahweh. For I determined not to know anything among you, save Yahweh Shai and him crucified. And I was with you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words, man's wisdom. So we looked up enticing, persuasive. Then we looked up persuasive, good at persuading someone to do or believe something through reasoning or the use of temptation. Entice, incite, or instigate, to allure, attract. So he didn't come at him with like that. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words or man's wisdom, but in discriminating of the Spirit and of power, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of man, but in the power of Yahweh. So he came through preaching, and to set the record straight, all of us are not prophets. The Lord handed out different. He gave some evangelists. He gave some apostles. He gave some prophets. He gave some pastors. And I'm just letting you know from the jump, I'm not a prophet. And I don't claim to be no prophet. The Lord didn't come to me with words and told me to, go out. No. That's what Brother Jeremiah, the Lord came to him, and not directly, but through the angels, and the angels gave it to him, the word of the Lord. So, and he shot it out there, So some of us, we see a gang of prophets on the street, and then we thinking, I want to be a part of that. So you think you're a prophet now. You're not a prophet. You're just with the prophets. Ephesians 4:8. Wherefore he said, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity to captive and gave gifts unto man. Now that he ascended, what is it but that he also descended first into the lower part of the earth? He that descended, and the same also that ascended up far above all heavens, that he might fill all things. And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers, for the perfection of the saints, for the working of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Yahweh Shai. See, he gave different gifts to different people. That's why you see some of these brothers in these camps, they're magnificent teachers, because they've been given the gift of teaching. Some has given the gift of evangelism. Some are pastors, and some are prophets. So I looked up prophets yesterday, and I wondered, how many prophets were they? 'Cause Because we sure got a whole bunch of so-called prophets running around here now. And they say they are 88 prophets featured or mentioned in the Bible. A prophet is someone who received revelation from God, which we know as Yahweh. In the Old Testament, there are 4 major prophets and 12 minor prophets. There are 16 Old Testament prophets in total. Shortly after Saul anointed as king, he met with 70 prophets and joined them. So I looked it up, and it was roughly 231 prophets. And that's what's, there might have been more, but roughly 231 prophets. So they have a whole bunch of false prophets around here. So I don't claim to be no prophet. I learned from the prophets. The prophets got good knowledge and wisdom and understanding. Some guys in these camps, they feel they're prophets, but they're not prophets. They're teachers. They're evangelists. Some are pastors, but they're in the prophet camps. Let's go to 1 Corinthians. First Corinthians 13 and 11. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understand as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. So we ought to put away them childish things. You thought as a child when you came in this truth. I want to be like them. You was enticed in over to YouTube. You saw them cussing out people. I want to be like them. I want to see what's going on with them. The Lord draws you to them. But now the Lord asks the Lord to reveal who you are and what you set on this earth to do. And the Lord will reveal it to you. Romans 12, starting at 5. So we being many are one of body in a Mashiach, and every one members one of another, having then gifts different according to the grace that is given to us. Whether prophesying, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith. Our ministry, let us wait on our ministry. Or he that teacheth on teach. Or he that exhorteth on exhortation. He that giveth, let him do it with simplicity. He that ruleth with diligently. He that shows mercy with cheerfulness. So the Lord gave us different gifts, So that's what I'm letting you know. The Lord gives different gifts. Everybody's not a prophet. You might be among the prophets. First Corinthians. And maybe some of these camps are don't mind you being there, because at the top, you're still a contribution, to the whole body, we work as a body together. all connect like Voltron. You know, we're all we when we connect. You know what I'm saying? We're one. 1 Corinthians 12. That's why when you see like, oh, that brother, you know, he's a real good teacher, you know, or he's a real good preacher. That's because they're teachers and they're preachers and they're evangelists and they're pastors. 1 Corinthians 12 and 6. And there are the dividers of operations, but it is the same Yahweh which works in all. But the magnification of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal. For to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, to other the word of knowledge by the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another the gift of healing by the Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits, to another divers kinds of tongue, to another interpretations of tongues. But all these worketh that one and all self same Spirit, dividing to every man several as he will. For as the body is one, and he has members, and all the members of one body, being many, are one body, so also is a Mashiach. So we working as one body here, you know. We're all working together as a team. But some, you know, just like that they got influence over the YouTube and they saw how people was cussing them out. Yeah, man, I want to be a prophet too, you know. But you're not a prophet. You're a wannabe. 1 Peter. And ain't nothing wrong with wanting to be a man of the Lord. But the Lord gives gifts. The Lord, it was before the before the making of the earth. What Brother Jeremiah said. Jeremiah 1 and 5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. You know? So you have to be ordained to be a prophet. You can't just be like, ooh, I like the way they get down. I like the way they cuss out the so-called white man. You know, I like that. I want to be a part of that. 1 Peter 4 and 10. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Yahweh. If any man speak, let him speak as the ordinance of Yahweh. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Yahweh giveth, that Yahweh is all things may be glorified through Yahweh Shai, to whom he praise and domain forever and ever. Amen. So that's what it is. You know, we should be good stewards, you know, good teachers, good evangelists, but all for the ministry of the Lord, to get that 144, them chosen elect. Romans Romans 10 and 14. Let's start at 13. For whosoever shall call upon the name of Yahweh shall be saved. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? Or how shall they believe in him on whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. So, like I said, all of us are not prophets. Some of us here to preach and to bring good tidings. But we're all of the body. Some of us get confused, I was one of them. Matthew 24. But the Lord, he gonna reveal it to you. 24 and 14. Let's start at 11. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. And then shall the end come. So it's ordained for this gospel to be preached. And then the end gonna come. Let's stay in Matthew's. Let's go to 28. Matthew's 28 and 19. Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Ghost, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even until the end of the world. Yeah, so the Lord is with us, So preach this gospel. Go back to 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 9 and 16. For though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glorify of, but necessities is laid upon me. Yea, woe is unto me if I preach not the gospel. For though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to glorify of, for necessities is laid upon me. Yea, woe is unto me if I preach not the gospel. So the Lord has ordained it, put it in your spirit to preach this gospel. Just like Jeremiah was ordained to prophesy, the Lord has ordained us to preach the gospel. Okay, let's go to 2 Timothy. But watch thou in all things, endure affliction, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of thy ministry. Evangelist, a bringer of good tidings, an evangelist, a preacher of gospel, bringer of good news. Teacher, one who is fitted to teach or think of himself so. of those who, by their great power as teachers, draw crowds around them. Masters, doctor, and instructor. And I know a good teacher, Brother Malcolm, he even says that he's an instructor. He instructs people in health, fitness and things of that nature. And he's an excellent teacher. The brother from Alabama, the mystery of I forgot the last of it, but he's an excellent teacher. He teaches very well. Prophet in Greek writers writing an interpreter of oracles or of other hidden things, one who moved by the spirit of Yahweh and hence his organs, or spokesman, solemnly declares to man what he has received by inspiration, especially concerning future events, and in particular such as relates to the cause and kingdom of Yahweh and to human salvation. A foreteller, an inspired speaker, a poet, a person who speaks for Yahweh, one who foretells, inspired preacher, a soothsayer, a spokesman, proclaimer. So that's what a prophet is. Now let's go to what a pastor is. A pastor, in parables, he is who cares and controls others, having committed themselves and whose precepts they follow. The presiding officer, manager, director of any assembly, so of Yahweh Shai, the herd of the church, the overseer of the Christian assembly. So the Lord Yahweh Shai is our shepherd. He's our herdsman. A shepherd in the Near East was responsible for watching over for enemies trying to attack the sheep, defending the sheep, finding and saving lost or trapped sheep, loving them and caring their lives and to earn their trust. Matthew 9:36. But when he saw the multitude, he was moved with compassion on them, because they fainted and were scattered abroad as sheep having no shepherd. Pastor, shepherd, one who cares of a flock of herd. Luke 12:32. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Spiritual guide, shepherd of souls, to lead to pasture, feed, tend, guard, protect. Jeremiah 9:15. And I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. So we're going to give all praises and glory to Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Shalom.